Hey there, welcome to Breakfast with Mark Daniels for this Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. Long Island weather for the rest of the work week looks like temperatures will be in the low to mid 30s today and tomorrow, low to mid 40s Thursday and Friday, nighttime lows mid 20s today and tomorrow, and about 30 to 35 by Friday. No precip till the weekend when we have another chance of rain. Well, now that we have a Super Bowl officially, the San Francisco 49ers and Kansas City Chiefs from Miami on February 2nd, the next 2 weeks will be about you and me getting ready for the big game. Whether we have a team in the game or not, it doesn't really matter. It would be nice if we had a New York team in there. It's been a long time for the Giants, and it's been a much longer time for the Jets. So as we get ready, three things come to mind. One is, do we have a big enough TV to watch the game? TVs are getting so enormous that you practically have to rearrange your entire den or living room just to fit the darn thing. And if you go to local retailers like PC Richard, and if you go on Amazon, you'll find right now that TV prices have really been slashed. This is the best time of the year to buy a new TV. Some of the Amazon prices are half off. I had a neighbor, great guy, he's a tech kind of a guy, and he had to be the first to get the latest and greatest tech gadgets before everyone. As a matter of fact, when flat-screen TVs first started to become popular, he bought one, showed it to me, and I was amazed. I go, wow, I want one of those. He spent 5 figures on that TV. And if you compare it to today's models, the same size screen is probably around $500. Anyway, if you're looking for a deal on a TV for your Super Bowl party, now is the time to buy one. The second thing is, which is my favorite subject, the menu of food that we're going to have for the Super Bowl party. The two most popular items people generally choose to eat on Super Bowl Sunday would be chicken wings and chili. Of course, we have our sides, our pigs in a blanket. My wife loves those. Celery sticks, carrot sticks that you'll dip in some sort of onion dip. Guacamole dip, chips, and pretzels, but actually, I could eat chicken wings from the start of the game, from the national anthem, all the way through the post-game show. And the third thing we have to think about is A, do we go to a Super Bowl party, assuming we're invited, or B, do we just stay at home? I've been to a few Super Bowl parties, and it's always really nice and hospitable when someone invites you into their home. They give you this big screen TV to use for about 4 hours, use of their den, and of course food and drink galore. It's really hospitable. But me personally, I would much rather just stay at home and watch the game with my family. I know it sounds a little antisocial, but here's why. When you're invited to someone's house, it's a social occasion. You eat, you drink, you talk, you laugh, and you have a lot of fun. And if the Super Bowl's on, chances are you might miss that big play that decides the game. While I love my friends, and I do like getting invited, and I appreciate all those that have invited me in the past, and hopefully they will in the future after hearing this, the Super Bowl requires attention, and I like to have the attention on the game, all those great commercials, and the halftime show. I mean, it's J-Lo and Shakira. I don't want to miss a second. If I'm watching the Super Bowl with my family, I don't really have to talk if I don't want to. It wouldn't be really considered rude because they might think, oh, Dad's just watching the game. And if they're being too loud and too noisy and distracting me from the game, I can tell them to be quiet. I can't tell my friends that, nor would I really want to tell my friends that. So for me, watching the Super Bowl at home is the way I like to do it. So the Super Bowl is a universal sporting event. It has something for everyone. And chances are you're going to watch some, if not all of it. When you watch the Super Bowl, would you prefer to go to a party or just watch it at home? You can comment here on Facebook or Instagram. And now on to this. I used to hear people tell me that their partner worked from home. They telecommuted. They never had to go into the office. I used to think that, wow, that must be great. But because of technical complications, I was never able to do that. I just kept thinking WFH. Yeah, work from home. Wow. Come out of bed, have a cup of coffee, little breakfast, log on, go back to bed, get up again, check for messages, log off, day is done. I don't even know if I took a shower. But after doing it for 2 months, I can tell you I really miss the office. I really need to get out of this house. The one disadvantage about working from home is that there are so many distractions. Like, I don't know, the cats are fighting again. Somebody put in a load of wash, and my LG machine likes to sing me a song when it's done. My house phone rings constantly with all kinds of solicitors. My daughter texts me from school telling me that she forgot the most important assignment of the entire year. Would I please bring it in? My doorbell rings, and it's someone trying to sell me roofing. My smoke alarm is glad that I'm working from home, so it thought it would be a good time to tell me that it needs its batteries changed. And my wife leaving a grocery list that's a mile long on the counter with a little note that says, "I hope you don't mind picking up a few things." All of that, plus the everyday chores that we do as homeowners from day to day, but we have a really good excuse when we come home from the office not to do them. "Oh, it's been a busy day. You know what? I'll get to that over the weekend, but I gotta rest." No, when you work from home, that stuff is always staring at you every single day. And now some advantages and disadvantages of working from home. Advantages. You have a flexible schedule. You can take breaks at any time. Eat lunch at weird hours. You can wear cozy clothes. You can wear those sweatpants from college all day long if you'd like. It's easier to make private calls. You don't have to find some empty conference room to make that really important call to your spouse. You can knock off some of those weekend to-dos if you work from home, that Mount Everest laundry pile waiting for you. Well, maybe you can take care of that. Zero commuting from bed to bed. You can save some money on the commute and on your lunch. You don't have to fight crowds and traffic. And there's that last one, the most important one, more time with your loved ones. Some disadvantages include willpower. Get going on that big new project, or Netflix. Difficulty sticking to your routine. Long power naps. I took a really good one today myself. Boredom. Those office conversations, kind of missing Susan's cat stories. How long can you go without seeing another living human being? Working slowly. Sometimes the office has its own energy, and sometimes your home does not. I used to think that working from home had to be the best thing ever. And now, after doing it for 8 weeks, I know for sure that working at work in an office can't be beat. What about you? Do you prefer working from home or working from work in a real office? You can comment on Facebook, Instagram, or send me an email, breakfastwithmarkdaniels@gmail.com. And now this. We have someone in our family called the Topper Bandit. And you have to go to extreme measures to prevent the Topper Bandit from stealing your top. And I'll explain this. My daughter works in a bakery. And every now and then she brings me home some sweet treat, like a muffin, or on a rare occasion, a Napoleon. And we all know that the best part of those two bakery treats is the top. The muffin has that crown coming over, and it's a little crunchy and sweet, and the Napoleon has that fabulous top layer, which is like icing. Oh, it's the best. That's really what makes the treat. So when my daughter comes home, she shows me what she got me, and I'm delighted, and we leave it where I usually keep my stuff, my key and my wallet, and I know that I'm going to grab it on the way out the door the next day. So the next day comes, and I take whatever treat it is. Let's just say it's a Napoleon, okay? And when I get to where I'm going, I'm ready for a snack now. I'm hungry. So I take the bag, I go in, and I pull out this fabulous Wait a minute, what happened to my Napoleon? The whole top is gone. All I'm left with is the middle layer and that creamy stuff, but I wanted the top. I proceeded to eat it anyway, because that's what I do. I was hungry, and all right, I'll eat it without the top. This happened again a couple of weeks later, where this time it was a muffin. I brought the muffin to work after my daughter had brought it home, and I went into the bag. I took out the muffin. It was a topless muffin. The top was gone. I knew these things had tops when my daughter showed them to me. She said, "Look, here's what I got you." It was a fully topped muffin or Napoleon. Something happened between the time I went to bed and the time I got up the next day to take my muffin to wherever it is I was going to eat it. Your first thought is, as mine was, the cats. So I thought about it. It couldn't be the cats because the bag was still folded over. And if it was the cats, then there would have been crumbs everywhere. No crumbs, not a single one. So that night we were having dinner. We were sitting around the table talking about our day, as families usually do. And I said, you wouldn't believe this, but the top of my muffin, or the top of my Napoleon, was missing. How could that be? And I knew my daughter really didn't like baked treats. She's not a cake or a sweet person. So I looked over at my wife, and she's giggling, and she said, "Oh, I couldn't resist." She said she was watching a Friends rerun. It was late, and she had the munchies, and she couldn't stop herself. She didn't even attach a note to the bag saying, "Sorry, I couldn't help myself, but I ate the top of your muffin." Imagine the disappointment when I opened that bag to look for my fully formed muffin when I only had maybe 2/3 of it. So now when my daughter brings me home something from the bakery, we have our own secret hiding place that Mom doesn't know about. So in case she gets the urge during a rerun of Friends at about 11:15 at night, she'll have to resort to something else, like a bag of chips. True story. If you have a topper bandit in your house, somebody that steals your food and puts it back, only to leave you with half or 2/3 of what you thought you were going to get, you could tell me here on Facebook, Instagram, or you can send an email to breakfastwithmarkdaniels@gmail.com. And finally, I like to feature local talent here on Breakfast with Mark Daniels. And this is a local band called Swim. They've been together for about 4.5 years, and I'll never forget their first performance outside in Port Jeff. Since then, things have really been happening for them. Band members are Brian D'Angio on drums, Nick Riviezzo on lead guitar, Dan McCaffrey, lead vocalist, and Pat Morelli plays the bass guitar and the keyboards simultaneously. They're based in Stony Brook, and this is their latest song called Pass By.
A man has but one life to live, yet he keeps on settling for the first thing that he thinks is loving. And he misses the chance that was worth all the wait, 'cause they say only the fool believes in fate. Then you passed by, I lost my mind. Don't let me wander, waste my time. The sight of you feels so fine, and a girl like you so hard to find. So I'll keep staring at the lonely sky to wait and see for the star shooting my way. Maybe it's today. So give me some direction, please. I'm begging you down on my knees. Take my hand and wipe the glass clean, 'cause it gets so hard to see when you look into the past, and you don't like who's staring back. Then you pass by, I lost my mind. Don't let me wander, waste my time. The sight of you feels so fine, and a girl like you so hard to find. When will I know not to hide? When will I know it's for real this time? So I'll keep staring at the lonely sky to wait and see for the star shooting my way. Maybe it's today. Maybe. So ease the doubts in my mind. I know you feel the same inside. If you can keep that hope alive, one day I'll be never leave your side. Ease the doubts in my mind. I know you feel the same inside. If you can keep that hope alive, one day I'll be never leave your side. So I'll keep staring at the lonely sky to wait and see for the star shooting my way. Maybe it's today. It's today. Maybe. Ease the doubts in my mind. I know you feel the same inside. If you can keep that hope alive, one day I'll be never leave your side. Ease the doubts in my mind. I know you feel the same inside. If you can keep that hope alive, one day I'll be never leave.
The band is Swim. That's their latest song called Pass By. They've played all over the place, including the South by Southwest Music Festival and gigs all over Long Island and New York City. And they've had over 500,000 plays on Spotify. You can find all their music on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, and Bandcamp. Swim. Check them out. That'll do it for this episode of Breakfast with Mark Daniels. Thank you for listening. Breakfast with Mark Daniels is available on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, Alexa, and Buzzsprout.com. Email anytime, breakfastwithmarkdaniels@gmail.com. Enjoy your short work week. I'll see you back here tomorrow for Breakfast with Mark Daniels.